Hi everyone, I'm Courtney. In this video, I'm going to help you learn new English vocabulary. Listen to learn new words. Today, I'm going to talk about being the oldest sibling. So, I'm the oldest sibling in my household, and I have 4 younger siblings. So, I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. It goes me, my sister, my brother, and then my 2 youngest sisters. And it's interesting because I feel like I've always loved being the oldest. I've always loved being the oldest sibling. I feel like it's a role that's perfect for me. I am the type of person that I like exploring and I like doing new things. And being the oldest sibling, you have to do new things a lot, and you're the first person to do the new things. You don't have anyone to tell you what you're supposed to do. You just have to explore and figure things out on your own. And of course, your parents help you, but being an oldest sibling, it's different. You don't always know what the right thing to do is, and you don't have any older siblings to go to for advice. You just kind of have to try things and see if they work. I liked being the oldest sibling growing up, and I still like being the oldest sibling now, but there's a level of responsibility that comes with being an oldest sibling. So I think in some families, the oldest sibling would kind of pick on or bully their younger siblings. And in my household, that just wasn't true. I think I was really kind and caring to all of my younger siblings. I was really, really close, especially with my sister that was closest to me in age. She was 2 years younger than me. All of my siblings and I are about 2 years apart. So I'm 30, my sister's 28, my brother is 27, but it's because his birthday is in the fall. And then my other sister's 26, and my youngest sister is 24. So, wait, no, that's wrong. My youngest sister is 22. She's 8 years younger than me. I don't know. But anyways, we're all about 2 years apart. I remember in my household, a lot of times my younger siblings would come to me for advice. They would ask me questions about what they should do in their relationships or what they should do in school. And I would always try to give them good advice. I'd like to think that I was pretty approachable and that they didn't feel scared to come to talk to me. I feel like as the oldest sibling, you're kind of a parent to your younger siblings a little bit. When my siblings were really little, when they were all babies, I remember I loved feeding them bottles. I would feed them bottles every morning before I went to school, and I loved it. I loved to be a caretaker for the babies in the household. And I remember when my mom had my youngest sister, and she said, okay, that's it. I'm not having any more kids. I remember I was a little bit sad because I liked taking care of the babies when I was little, when I was 4, 6, and 8. I liked helping her. Another thing about being the oldest sibling is I feel like my job was to keep the peace. If anyone was fighting, I feel like my job was to get them to calm down and stop fighting. And sometimes I would pull them apart if they were kicking or hitting each other. Or sometimes I would make a joke to try and make everyone laugh and ease the tension a little bit. But yeah, my job has always felt like I'm the one that kind of makes sure that everyone is getting along and everyone's doing okay. And I still feel that way as an adult. I try to check in on my siblings. I probably could do a better job about checking in and making sure everyone's doing okay. But I do care about them all a lot, and I always want them to do well. One thing that was annoying about being the oldest sibling is that your younger siblings get more things. So my parents did a pretty good job of being fair with all of their kids. But one thing I noticed is that, for example, I would ask to go out with my friends, and my mom and dad would say, no, you should stay home. You don't need to go out with your friends. And then I went to college, and every time I called my house, I would talk to my youngest sister, and she would tell me, yeah, mom and dad let me go out with my friends. Mom and dad let me go hang out. And I was like, what? I didn't get to do that when I was your age. Specifically with my youngest sister, the baby of the family, I felt like she got special treatment sometimes. My dad and her were really close. She's a daddy's girl. And so, especially when she was really little, she got to do things that I never got to do. For example, my family went to church, and I always had to be awake, pay attention, sit still, be quiet in church. And my youngest sister, she fell asleep on my dad's shoulder. He would hold her, and she could take a nap during church. That always really annoyed me. Now, I don't really care, but it felt unfair to me at the time. But there were also cool perks about being the oldest sibling. For example, I always got to ride shotgun in the car. So riding shotgun means that you get to ride in the front passenger seat next to the driver. So I always rode shotgun. And as a kid, I don't know why, but riding shotgun is a cool thing to do. I also sometimes used my age as an excuse for why I could do things. For example, sometimes there would be different TV shows at night, and I was the one that was allowed to stay up and watch them. My younger siblings, they had to go to bed because it was their bedtime. They were too little to stay up late, but I got to stay up and watch some TV shows, so that was cool. I also got my driver's license first, so it was cool to be allowed to drive before all of the rest of my siblings. One thing that I take very seriously about being the oldest sibling is being a good role model. I think it's important to be a good role model for your younger siblings if you have them, and show them what it looks like to be a good person and what it looks like to be happy, to be healthy. And I try to be a good role model for my younger siblings. There's been a few times where one of my brothers or sisters have told me how much they appreciate that I was a good role model for them in a specific way. And that's always meant a lot to me. It's always felt really special when one of them tells me that they think I'm a good person and that they look up to me. That always feels really special. One thing about being the oldest sibling that's a little bit sad is that you're also the person to leave the house first. So I remember when I went to college, it was super sad because I had to leave everyone, and I knew that everyone else would still be together in my house, and I would be the one that was leaving. And that was really hard, especially once I got into college and started making friends and started being busy with my activities. I kind of felt like I was missing out on a lot of my family's lives, and I tried to stay in touch, and I tried to call and text and visit But that was one thing about being an older sibling that yeah, it was sad to be the one that left first. I think it's interesting because now, as an older sibling, my dynamics with my sisters and brothers have changed. So, for example, I used to be really close to my sister that's 2 years younger than me, and as an adult, I think I'm a lot closer to my sister that's 6 years younger than me. And I just think it's interesting the way that your dynamic changes when you grow up and when you're an adult. And I'm still close with my siblings, and I still, keep in contact with them. Like I said, I probably could text or call them more often. But yeah, it's interesting. And it's also interesting to be an oldest sibling and to not plan on having kids. I don't want kids. And so now my role as a sibling is to be a really good aunt to my nieces and nephews. And I know that's really important to my sisters and eventually to my brothers. So yeah, I really enjoyed being the oldest sibling. I think that it's a big responsibility, but it also gives you a lot of cool opportunities. And I think it allows you to kind of be the bridge between the rest of your siblings and your parents, which is something that I enjoy. I feel like it's good. What about you? Do you have siblings? How did you feel about the placement of where you were at in your sibling lineup? Are you the oldest? Are you a middle child? Are you the youngest? Tell me in the comments. I would love to know. All right, well, cool. Thanks for listening. And if you want another video like this, you can watch this one next. See you later.